And I like to wake up and kind of have that consistency, and that it works in business too. It just works in both. I don't use anything outside of myself anymore to fix something going on inside. If something's going on the inside now, I sit with that uncomfortable. It's the uncomfortableness that I just sit with today that I couldn't sit with 10 years ago. Could not sit with it. I sometimes sit quietly for hours. I couldn't do that 10 years ago. And I can sit quietly now and go, okay, I know now that it will pass. And before, I would think I'm always going to feel this way. And I'd go into a complete full spin and think that I had anxiety or think that I was depressed and try to put a label on it. And today I can just sit with feelings that are uncomfortable. And it's kind of fascinating to me that they'll happen. They just do. And then they pass. And I didn't have to take a pill or take a drink or get on an airplane and go be with some stranger in Cabo to disconnect from this with something externally. I don't have to do that anymore today. And that's the biggest difference, because I was a runner with a capital R. Like there'd just be like this big R on my face, a runner, she's a runner. Things got bad and I'd just be like, where are we going? Who are we, just like impulsive, So in Al-Anon literature, there's this thing called the checklist for maturity. The first time I saw this checklist, I was like, wow, I'm really in trouble. I'm like, a 50-year-old in the body of a 12-year-old. I had no maturity whatsoever. I saw that list and I thought, wow, I could answer like, I do that, I do that, I do that. The biggest one was makes decisions impulsively without really thinking it through. And that was one of my biggest. I'm just like, if you said, you want to go to Cabo? I'd go, yeah, let's go. Or you want to go do that? Like, I just never sat and thought about, well, let's think about this. What's motivating me?
And where I go is the hormonal piece. So I'm like, all right, that's dopamine. That's like looking for the dopamine from the perspective of impulsivity and decisions to get that hit. But then dopamine also being that hormone of addiction.
Yeah. And by the way, we love addicts. Like we're like the dopamine hits keep them coming, right?
Yeah.
That's what it's hard to sit when everything's like nothing's happening. For an addict, that's really weird because we're constantly looking for the hit.
Right.
And I say this all the time, and you read my bio, that attention was my first addiction. And when that stopped working, then we got, the alcohol went headstrong.
Right. And so is there still a part of you that would love to be on the cover of magazines and back on Oprah and in TV and interviewed by Howard Stern, but just through a different lens and in a different context?
In a different lens. And now the beautiful thing about where I'm at today is in my 20s and 30s, I just said yes to everything with no thought of what my motive was, or, it was just like, oh, you want me for that? Yeah. Today, I really align myself with things that align with what I'm doing.